Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Brief for September 13th, 2021. We have breaking news that I just saw from a couple hours ago that Rose McGowan has endorsed Larry Elder for the recall of Gavin Newsom in California, which is very bad news for a number of reasons, and I'll get into them here. You may have a feeling that's bad news, and I'm going to talk a lot about it, but and if you've seen this show before, or if you take a quick scroll down memory lane and see any of my many, many videos about voting no on the California recall, then you'll know my opinion on that. And then, of course, from me, Rose McGowan's going to have problems. But before I get into that, I do want to say thank you to Rose McGowan for her part in exposing people for helping the Me Too movement get started, her part in inspiring other people, because you let that genie out of the bottle, it doesn't come back, and the people that you helped give courage to and stuff, being part of a movement doesn't get undone by some type of evil that you do later. But on the other hand, it does look bad. It looks suspect. It makes everything you say and do look suspect to do something like this. So while you have done good, so thank you for the good that you've done, being the type of person who's part of something good that turns out to be bad, or turns out to have sold out, to have maybe taken a payment for something, and by something I mean your soul, like your principles, it's not a good look. So we're going to get into that, but I want to back up a little bit. Just say Rose McGowan's famous for Charmed, I guess. I don't know what else she was in, but Alyssa Milano was also in Charmed. She was famous well before Charmed and well after it. But it was an important thing in both of their lives. And as a fairy witch, back in Way Up, I just want to say that there will be magical repercussions for playing a witch as a central part of your career. Good repercussions, and possibly bad, depending on what you end up doing with it. So Alyssa Milano, good repercussions. Seems to be a well-respected, famous person. Rose McGowan, I'll just say this. This was my first backup. A few days ago, for whatever reason, I see a video about Rose McGowan talking about Alyssa Milano, which is why I just brought it up. And she's talking some kind of smack. I don't remember exactly what it was. Something, within the Me Too movement, Alyssa Milano didn't believe I don't know exactly, or I shouldn't even try to rephrase it. Alyssa Milano stood up for the wrong person or didn't stand up for the wrong, whatever it was. Some type of internal thing that I've noticed on a lower level from trolls in various communities, just trying to make people look bad. And at the time, I was kind of suspicious. Why is this a news story? This Texas anti-abortion law has just come back. You'd think everybody would be working together. Why is there just like an infighting or some type of revenge for something that happened on the set of Charmed? I don't know. But and again, I don't even know exactly what her claim was, but I was just surprised that it was even news. Surprised that it was news, and surprised that this was how Rose McGowan chose to make news. When you get a chance to, make a headline, this was the headline she chose to make. Isn't there someone else to criticize besides Alyssa Milano, who is an ally of things? Just like, hey, Rose McGowan's an ally of things, so why am I criticizing her? Well, because where she went with Larry Elder. And that's why I want to say up front, thanks for what you did, good. But it is somewhat undone by doing something bad. Just like if calling into question, I made videos recently about 9/11. If calling into question government story about 9/11, if it's a lie, is a good thing to do. If the government told the truth about 9/11 and calling into question, which is something I've done, makes you a total schmuck, then it makes me a total schmuck. But if there's a lie there and calling it into question, you're kind of doing something good to allow people to, learn more about something that the government might be lying about, whether it's that or anything else. But in that case, whereas like Joe Rogan, I guess, and Alex Jones were partly responsible for calling it into question, what they suggested or what they went on to promote after that was all completely terrible. So that makes calling it into question look completely terrible. Maybe by design. Maybe they're part of the whole government conspiracy to cover it up by also associating those questions, that skepticism, with a bunch of other completely obviously false, wrong stuff. And of course, they're completely fascist. I mean, they might not say they're completely fascist, but you can tell from the outside. So anyway, the problem with Rose McGowan joining these fascists is because it does have an influence on people who don't know, on just some people. And she probably wouldn't be doing it if they didn't think they had a chance of winning. So that's what's scary and bad about it. Because last polls I saw were 59% to stop the recall and to vote no on the recall. Good. And 39% to possibly vote for Trump virus genocide in California and have like a whole new variant, like Florida times Texas times Germany, like awful. So we got to stop that from happening. But to think about Rose McGowan supporting Larry Elder, it's just, that boggles the mind. Because at first, whatever her problem with Gavin Newsom is, and I think it's the problem with his wife, pressuring, this is all I got out of it, was that his wife, according to Rose McGowan, pressured her to not reveal something about Harvey Weinstein. I don't know if that's actually true, because whereas anytime you say, well, why wouldn't they have brought this up earlier? That's actually not a good, it's not true. That's not a legitimate criticism of a victim of something, because things are traumatic and there's all sorts of reasons people don't bring something up. But why wouldn't you bring up somebody pressuring you over something that you've already been speaking out about? Why wouldn't you bring that up until a politically expedient time? That's a legitimate question. Anyway, back to, there's 45, 56, I don't know, however many Russian-funded candidates are on the ballot in California. Why pick Larry Elder? You actually have some sway, some voice, more than I do. Like, look at all my videos and see how many times they've been viewed. And most of them have been viewed by right-wing people. They share them to, like, troll factories and clan terrorist cells in New Zealand and stuff. Anyway, Rose McGowan has some sway. She could pick any of the other candidates and make them the governor, assuming there's going to be, the no's are going to win. She could pick any of the other candidates and give them, or especially anyone that's got any type of polling or any type of support behind them, and give them the boost to make them the governor instead of Larry Elder. So why would she pick Larry Elder, a straight up total Nazi? See the rest of my videos. A Trumper. He's going to spread the genocide. Anyway, why would she do that? Russian funded. Russian money. Sorry, I just got to call it what it is. This is why you had 30 Democratic candidates in the primaries and Tulsi Gabbard hanging around through the end, as far as I remember. And, only two the cycle before that, Bernie versus Hillary. And then all of a sudden, 30 people all of a sudden want to run for president that had no plans to run for president 4 years before. I mean, I guess Biden was in that mix for a little bit. Anyway, it's because the Russians fund it. Look up the BBC investigation of the same Russian oligarch who paid Facebook all this money to make Trump popular, went down and bought the Madagascar election. Because it's Madagascar, I guess they can do an investigative report where they figured it out. Like, the Russians paid for every single other candidate to run under the conditions that if they polled high enough, they would drop out, to enable the chosen candidate, I think the existing president, to continue in office. Like, this is what the Russians do. It's an obvious game. And now they got 45 candidates for governor in California. Obviously the same ploy again. And nobody's calling them out for it or doing anything. But you could play the system against them. Any celebrity could pick, whichever one of the candidates they want and make them the next governor if they're going to get their no vote. But mostly just stop them from doing that. Let them know that this isn't really how democracy works just because you have a bad law. I heard somebody saying if you just put Gavin Newsom in the ballot with everybody else, he would obviously win. But he gets only a yes or no, and then everybody else. So the Russians have played this, and Russians and Trumpers, I mean, there's the same thing, KGB, KKK. They've played this, to their effect. And Rose McGowan's played into their hands for whatever reason. But that's going to backfire on her. I hope the memes are out there or whatever. But people won't forget betraying not just America, but betraying humanity and joining up with these fascists to push Trump virus genocide. But we got to stop them from winning. So the point of all this really is to say, vote no on the California recall, September 14th. Just keep Gavin Newsom. Vote for somebody else next time if you really want him. Thanks. And spread this around. Let everybody know.